Hello, welcome back to my channel. My name is Sophie. You can find me over on the Flying Fit Foodie over on Instagram. But if you found me here, even better. So welcome to those who haven't practiced with me before. Welcome back to those who have practiced with me before. It's nice to see you again. If you do like my videos, please feel free to subscribe to my channel, give this video a thumbs up and leave me a comment. See how you got on. I love to hear your feedback. Today we're focusing on hamstring flexibility. So you can grab a couple of blocks. You might find those useful in today's class. So when we talk about flexibility, we're not also just talking about the length of our hamstrings, even though we always think it's really nice to have lovely long hamstrings. Sometimes that can be a cause for injury if we don't have control over that range of motion. So today we're also focusing on the mobility in the hamstrings as well. So working on our glute strength and our hip mobility. Just learning how to control that in range of motion, essentially. So yeah, it's going to be a fun class. I hope you enjoy it. We're going to get started straight away on the mat. So grab yourself your 2 blocks. You can have them close by or just over to one side to begin with. Starting off in child's pose, have the knees nice and wide. Index fingers point forward, sink the hips back towards the heels. Long, long arms as you drop the forehead down towards the ground. Just settle in here. If your hips are a little bit higher than your heels, you can always place a block underneath them just to help support your body weight. Give yourself a few moments just to settle in now. Allow yourself to arrive into the space. Maybe this is the first time on your mat today. Show it some gratitude for being here, for being the safe space for you to practice in. Now start to pay attention to your breath. Slowing down every inhale. Really feeling it nourish the body. Filling up the lungs with fresh, clean air as you exhale. Fully allow yourself to melt a little bit deeper towards the ground. Inhale, feel the belly rise. Push against the thighs. Exhale completely. Take 2 more breaths. Inhale. If you haven't already, sealing off the lips. Breathing only through the nose. Exhale. Last big intentional breath here. Exhale. Gazing up between your thumbs. Roll forward into a tabletop position. You can extend your left leg out nice and long. So it's parallel to the hip, leaving that back toe on the right foot untucked. From here, bring the hands underneath the shoulders, almost create a bit of a cat-cow here. So our cat spine, rolling into that, pushing the ground away. Exhale, hips back, flexing that left toe up towards the ceiling, feeling that hamstring already start to stretch. Inhale, roll in. Exhale, maybe start to add a bit of a spinal wave, if that feels good. Inhale, rolling up. Exhale, rolling back, keeping that left foot nice and active through the toes. Feeling that hamstring start to waken up and stretch. Take 1 more inhale, rolling up and forward. Good, and then bring that left knee in under that left hip, extending that right leg out nice and long. As the same, maybe give yourself a little bit of room. Making that cat spine, pushing the ground away. Exhale, flexing that right foot up towards the sky. Inhale, rolling up. Exhale, rolling down. 2 more times, just like that. Creating space in the hips and just starting to wake up the hamstring, but also getting the spine a little bit involved here as well. Good, last time, hips roll back. Moving back up into tabletop position, bring those knees stacking underneath the hips. Take the fingertips a little bit further forward, press them into the mat, push the ground away. Eye of the elbows comes slightly forward as we lift our hips up and back straight away into downward facing dog. Pedaling out the heels, maybe taking some big, wide steps with them, just shaking off any movement now that you need to create some space in the body. Stay active through the shoulders, so we're not just dumping our weight through our legs. Maybe take some mini spinal rolls. Feel like that feels a little bit intuitive to you now. You want to just create a bit of space and some heat into the body. Good. Bring the feet about hip width apart. And we're going to raise the heels up towards the sky. And then exhale, drop them down towards the floor. Don't worry if they don't come all the way down. Inhale, come up. Exhale, down.
3 more times. Inhale up. Exhale down. Inhale up. Exhale down. 1 more. Pushing the ground away through the balls of the feet. Exhale, hips down. Good. Big toes come together to touch. Let's take that right leg all the way up towards the sky, working a little bit of core here. We're going to really push that toe up towards the sky as high as it will go. Squeezing that right butt cheek to really engage it. Lift it, lift it, lift it. Good. Exhale, bring the knee in towards the right elbow. See if you can tap it. Push the ground away, squeeze the core in. Inhale, take it all the way up. Lift, 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 and lengthen. Exhale, across the body this time, tapping left elbow. Push, push, push. Squeezing, lifting that leg all the way up. Exhale this time, knee in towards the chest. Push the ground away. Find that compression in the front portion of the body. Releasing that foot between the hands. Good. Coming into our high lunge straight away. Sweeping the hands all the way up towards the sky. We're going to open up this side of the left hip. So when you think about hamstring flexibility, we often have splits as our goal. Often it's not the hamstring length that is the problem, it's the front of our body too that needs to open up. So I want you to take a really nice, long, wide stance here. Push that left heel all the way back towards the back of the mat. Lift the hands up, squeeze the glutes, draw the thighs together. Really feel this left psoas opening up at the front of the body. So squeezing, almost thinking about drawing that tailbone down towards the floor, lifting the fingertips up towards the sky. Holding here. Also bringing some heat into the legs, working them. Well done. Lifting the fingertips all the way up. 2 more breaths here. See how hard and active you can get that back leg. Really working into the front portion of the body, opening it up. Last breath. Good. Hands to hips. Walk that left foot in just a little bit and turn it 45 degrees. Hips come back towards to face the front, straightening out that front leg, coming into our pyramid pose. Stay nice and grounded through the back foot, so outside edge of the left foot is still nice and active. Lift and lengthen through the chest, inhale. Exhale, see if you can fold forward over that front leg. If you need to have a little bit of a micro bend in it, you absolutely can, but try to keep it straight if it's available to you. Option here, keep the hands on the hips. Maybe this is enough for you. Today, you can drop the hands down towards the floor, fold completely into your full pyramid. See if you can get your nose all the way to the shin without rounding through the spine. Stay nice and long in the spine. See if you can lift that big toe up off the mat. See how active you're being. Keep that left hip coming forward to the front of the mat, so hips are lovely and square. Good. Option to stay here. Maybe bring your hand onto the shin for a bit of a balance challenge. Maybe reach back and see if you can touch your back leg. For 1. Keep drawing the core in to build that compression to get you forward. And 2, good. Release the hands to the front of the mat. Step the left foot forward. Forward fold. Whew. Feeling a difference already in the hamstrings warming up. Maybe take ragdoll pose, ragdoll arms, dropping the hands, doing whatever you need to now to release any tension. And then into your halfway lift. Lift and lengthen here. Exhale, let's take it all the way down, forward fold. Inhale, rising all the way up, nice and slowly. Sweeping the hands up all the way above the head. Exhale, bring the hands back down to the center of the heart. Taking a moment here, feeling the difference between left and right already. Good, inhale, sweep the hands up. Exhale, swan dive all the way down, softening the knees. Inhale, lift and lengthen. Exhale, stepping it all the way back into our plank position. If it was your first chaturanga of the day, option to drop onto the knees always is there. Exhale, bending the elbows, hugging them in close to the body. Inhale, rolling up into your cobra, baby cobra, or even your upward facing dog. Exhale, let's take it all the way back. Downward facing dog. Take 2 breaths here, feeling the difference between left and right. This is annoying. Again, not stressing if the heels are up or if they're down. Just being content with where they are now. It's fine. Good. Let's move it on to the other side. Bring those toes together to touch. Take that left leg up towards the sky. Point the toe, really squeeze, then switch on that glute to bring that left leg up as high as you can get it. Push, 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 push. As we exhale, bring that knee in to tap that left elbow. Push the ground away, engage that core. Inhale, take it all the way up and back. Moving with slow control. Think about that time under tension as you move through each flow. Tapping the opposite elbow, exhale across the body. Inhale all the way up, moving with control. Exhale, crunch in, come forward, gaze between the thumbs. Release the foot between the hands. Come up onto your fingertips, find that balance. Engage that core, sweep the hands all the way up. Nice wide stance for your high lunge. Again, pushing actively into that back heel, high up on the ball of the foot. Really think about switching on that back leg so you can open the front portion of this body. Finding a nice, long, straight spine, but open front of the body as well. Keep pushing that back leg, nice and active. Relaxing the shoulders, not holding the tension there. 2 more breaths here. Bringing some heat into that leg. Good. Exhale, release the hands down to the hips. Walk that back foot in just a couple of inches, 45 degrees. Turn those hips to face the front. Weight comes into the outside of the back foot, so you've got a nice arch in that back foot. Still nice and strong, not collapsing that knee in towards the middle of the mat. Gaze forward, lift up, breathe up into that chest space. Straighten that front leg. Exhale, fold, pyramid. Getting to where you're comfortable. Again, option to have your blocks is always there. If you want to find that length in your pyramid, stay up nice and tall, as long as your legs staying nice and active. Check by lifting that front toe, that big toe up off the mat. If you took it before, option to come all the way down. Keep turning that right hip to face the front of the mat so you're nice and square. Option to take it a little bit further, dropping the head in without rounding through the spine and the chin. Good. From here, you can bring your hand into a bit of a balance pose, or maybe grabbing onto the back of your right thigh if your arms allow it and if your hamstrings allow it. Keep drawing that core in. Good. As you exhale, release the hands forward, stepping it into our forward fold at the front of the mat. Whew. Releasing the legs, bending them a little bit left and right. Good. Inhale, halfway lift, flattening out that back, lengthening the hamstrings. Exhale, take the palms into the mat, step or hop back into your plank position. Exhale, come down through our chaturanga. Option to find your cobra, high cobra, wherever you are. Don't shrug the shoulders forward and together, roll them back so the scapulars come to meet. Really squeeze the glutes to protect your lower spine. Exhale, option to drop onto the knees, coming through your child's pose. You can take a few breaths here if the legs are feeling tight, or if you want to come straight on up. Coming into our downward facing dog, those are the options that you have. So 3 breaths there, either in your child's pose, closing off the front of those hips, taking a little bit of a break, or coming into your downward facing dog if you're really enjoying that lengthening feeling in the hamstrings right now. Wherever you are, honor that feeling, go with it. When you're ready, we'll take 1 more breath, and then we'll meet back in our downward facing dog. Bring those big toes together to touch. Let's take that right leg all the way up towards the sky. Split dog this time, so bending that knee, opening that knee up towards the ceiling, opening up. Trying to keep the shoulders as square as you can to the top of the mat, so we're not diving forward, keeping them nice and square, peeling that knee up, 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 up. Good. And we're going to exhale, bring that knee in towards the chest, squaring off the hips, roll forward, step it between the thumbs, dropping that back knee down this time. We're coming into our half split, so you can always have your blocks next to you. Always a really nice addition to be able to keep your spine nice and long, keeping the hips level as well. You're going to take that
big foot towards the big toe towards the face, kick it back, sink the hips back towards the floor. We're going to keep the hips nice and level, finding a nice active half split here. And we're going to move through into our low lunge, into our half split. Do that just a couple of times. Just again, working a little bit of heat into the hamstrings, but as you take it back, keep that big toe kicking towards the face, so you're staying nice and active. Good. Finding stillness in your half split now. Option to stay up on the blocks. If this is enough for you, you can stay here. Inhale, lift. Exhale, fold a little bit deeper, keeping the hands there. Maybe taking them down, maybe walking them forward, coming down into your full half split. Trying to keep that spine nice and long, drawing that compression in to reduce that space between yourself and the thigh. So it's not all the hamstring doing the work, getting you to meet the thigh. You're also using your core here to draw you in, your mula bandhara, and then also your hamstring length and strength as we keep it nice and active here. One more breath here. Inhale, roll up. Keep that hamstring nice and straight. If you've got the blocks, you can bring the back to the side. If you can do it without blocks, it's absolutely fine. But from here, we're going to lift that heel up off the floor, keeping that tension in that hamstring for 1, and down, 2, 3, 4, 5. Hold, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Good. Take that right foot down. Walk those hands forward. We're going to come into our standing split now. So we've created some flexibility, some length, and a bit of intelligence with the pulses. Now we're going to tuck that back toe under, lift and walk that foot in towards that front foot, and maybe kick that left foot up towards the sky. From here, we're going to use our right hand, draw it in maybe with our right ankle, maybe walk that left hand out, find our balance. Point that top toe and see if you can draw yourself in. So it should feel nice in front in that, opening that psoas muscle on the left side. Keep kicking that left foot up towards the sky. Use that core to draw you into a forward fold. 2 more breaths here. Last breath. Exhale, release it all the way down to the front of the mat. Forward fold. Inhale through the nose. Exhale, side out of the mouth. Good. Inhale, let's halfway lift. Sweep the hands all the way up, come up into standing. Exhale, hands to the heart center. Take a moment now, ground yourself, feel the difference between left and right. Hoping you feel a difference. I definitely do already. Taking that time, honor that feeling. Maybe it's an uncomfortable feeling, and you know where you're working the muscles. Let's inhale, sweep it all the way up. Exhale, take it all the way down to the floor. Placing the palms back, step or hop back into your plank position. Option to drop onto your knees, taking your chaturanga. Inhale up. We're not focusing on chaturangas so much today, so take your time with them. Use them wisely. We're not going through repetitions of that, so it should feel fairly comfortable for you to do a couple of really good quality ones. Let's go on the other side. So bring those big toes together to touch. Inhale, left leg up towards the sky. Split dog, bending that leg, opening that left knee up towards the sky. Keep pushing the ground away, nice and active through the shoulders. You can always come up onto the ball of that right foot. If you can't get the heel all the way down, do whatever feels good for you. Really trying to open up that knee as high and as wide as it will go. Trying to kick that right butt cheek almost with that left foot. Good. Roll forward, square off the hips. Bring the knee in towards the chest. Gaze forward. Drop the foot between the hands. Setting up for our low lunge. Dropping that down, the right knee down, and then making sure your hips are nice and square. Extending that front leg. Coming into our half split. Again, using the blocks next to us, under our shoulders. We all look very different in this posture, and obviously one side can feel very different to the other. So just honor that feeling. Take some time to notice it. Maybe you feel exactly the same. Perfect. But very unlikely. I know for me, this is definitely my tighter side, so I have to spend a little bit more time on it. And you might not think that's like a big deal, and it's definitely not, but it's just good to know to work on your weaknesses. Good, let's roll into those low lunges. And exhale, come all the way back and down. Let's go for 4 of those. Two more. Exhale. Good. From here, bringing those blocks in next to you. You can have your back toe tucked or untucked, whatever is more comfortable. Push away so you're nice and tall through the spine. I'm going to come up onto this height to do mine. I'm going to kick that foot in towards the face. Active left hamstring for 1. Lift it up. 2, 3, 4, 5. And hold for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Drop it down. Bending into that front leg, ready for our standing split. Walk those hands forward, tucking that back toe if it's not already. Lifting and stepping, maybe bouncing, coming up into our standing split on this side. Walking that right hand out to find that balance, using that left hand to draw yourselves in. Obviously, if you want to use your blocks instead, you can absolutely do that. But you're trying to do so many things at once here. So we're pointing that toe up towards the sky. We're using our core to draw us in like we're in a forward fold. We're staying strong and active through that front leg, balancing, holding for 1, 2, maybe shift your gaze, really focus through, and 3, releasing that foot down, meeting left leg, whew. Shaking out the hips, bending left and right. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, stand all the way up to rising. And sweep the hands over the head. Exhale, bring the hands down to the center of the heart. Good, taking a nice wide step to the left side of your mat. Coming into our forward fold. You can have the blocks nearby. You know you like to use them. Traditionally, we might point the toes in. I want you to think about pointing the toes out. The reason why we do this, you might find it trickier to balance, but we can switch on our glutes if our feet are turned out rather than turned in. Bring the hands onto the hips to start off with. Roll the shoulders into a neutral position. Breathing up into the chest here. Find that length in the spine. Exhale, fold, pivot at the hips. Bringing yourself into a parallel position to the floor first. Keeping that spine nice and long, dropping the hands down towards the floor. Seeing if you can use that core to draw you in closer. Walking the fingertips maybe forward, finding that length in the spine. You can notice I haven't got a really wide stance here. I'm still not relying so much on my passive flexibility. I'm using a shorter stance to draw my core, use my core to draw me in rather than find the length. Walking the hands in underneath the shoulders. Inhale, halfway lift. This time take the feet a little bit wider if you can. Inhale, lift and lengthen. Exhale, come all the way down. Again, if you need to be on your blocks, absolutely fine. Or you can bring your hands down, maybe even bring the forearms down. Push the ground away. Almost imagine you're about to go into a forearm stand here. So staying nice and active. I'm not like hanging out here. I've not got a soft bend in my knees. I'm still active. So think about maybe lifting those toes up off the ground. Push the ground away. Maybe you can reach for the outside edges of the foot or go for a yogi toe lock. Draw the shoulder blades back. Bring the head down towards the floor. Maybe take the weight more into the toes of the feet rather than sinking into the heels. Staying nice and active. In the hamstrings, good. 2 more breaths here. And exhale, release, walk the hands back in underneath the shoulders. Make sure you've still got active hamstrings as you lift and lengthen up. Hands onto the hips, rolling yourself all the way back up into standing. Good. Point the toes to the front of the mat. Step the left foot to the front. Inhale, arms come all the way up. Exhale, swoop the hands all the way down, forward fold. Inhale, lift and lengthen halfway. Step or hop back, plank chaturanga. Option to drop onto your knees as always. Exhale down. Inhale, coming up. Exhale onto the knees for a brief child's pose. Closing off the front of the hips here. Then coming up into your tabletop position and then just swinging that right leg around to the front of the mat. And move the blocks a little bit out of the way. Or you can have them in front of you because you might need them. So coming into a wide leg forward fold here. Good. So you can always have a block in front of you to have something to aim for. I'm going to give the game away a little bit here. From here, see if you can maybe move the flesh of your sit bones back. So it helps you out a little bit, pointing your pubic bone down, tailbone comes up slightly, so already in a bit of a posterior tilt. From here, as always, active feet coming towards the face, active hamstrings, that's what we like to see, not passive floppy legs. So if you're naturally quite flexible, this is really important to maintain this strength and build awareness into the muscles so we can actually use it for something rather than just hang out in our end range motion and not be able to get out safely. So from here, you can have the block in front of you, something to aim for. You can bring your hands onto your thighs. I quite like to bring my hands to the back of my head, but you can have them out in front of you, whatever feels more good for you to find that length and that compression that we're going to create in our belly. So sit up nice and tall. See if you connect to that crunching feeling in your belly. Squeeze, and we're going to exhale, come all the way down towards the floor, keeping the feet nice and flexed. Good. So you actually should feel it more in your core than you should in your hamstrings screaming at you. Obviously, if your hamstrings are screaming, you can have a little bit of a bend then, but you should be able to have your feet nice and active still. So if you've got your block, you're going to aim to see if you can get your forehead on the block without rounding the spine too much and without just using the head to get you there. So really use that compression and then inhale, come up, keeping those hamstrings nice and tight. Good, so this is really good for a pancake, or if you're learning to press into a handstand, this is really good. Maybe move the block a little bit further away, coming all the way down. Using the breath to facilitate the space being created. Inhale, up. Let's go for 3 of these. Exhale down, squeezing that core in, flexing those feet. See if you can make it down. Holding and inhaling up. Good, 2 more of those. See if you can move the block a little bit further away. Maybe you can get your face on the floor. Inhale, lift and lengthen, squeeze, and exhale, breath comes all the way down. Inhale, come up. Exhale, last one. Pausing at the bottom, end range strength. Inhale, come all the way up. Whew, good. Hands behind the knees, shaking it out a little bit. You can drop the hands behind you, coming into our windshield wipers, taking them from side to side, relaxing off the hips here. Whew, good. Super challenging, and obviously if you need more blocks to aim for, maybe a pillow. Maybe you're not going so far, but that's absolutely fine. I could not have done that a year ago, and it just takes a little bit of time, a little bit of patience, and a few minutes. Good. Let's swing ourselves down and around, facing the front of our mat with our feet. You can hug the knees in towards the chest. Doing a bit of countering here, but not too much, because we want to keep that length we've created in the hamstrings. Take a rock from side to side. Really hugging those knees in nice and tight. Maybe this time rock yourself all the way up. Draw the hands across the body. Squeeze, squeeze, squeeze yourself into a little egg pose here. Good. And then relaxing yourself all the way down. From here, we can take a traditional Shavasana, or you can come into a Supta Baddha Konasana, so a supine butterfly pose. Bring the soles of the feet together, hands onto the thighs. Allow the shoulders to melt down to the floor. Tap into the breath if you feel you've lost your way. Allowing yourself these last few moments of the practice to wash over the body. And if you have any last stretches that you'd like to do before taking your rest, or maybe you're ready to move into another video, into a deeper, stronger practice, now your body is nice and warmed up, please feel free to go for it. Otherwise, you can find yourself here in Shavasana, or traditional, extending the legs out to the front of the mat. Taking a few long, deep breaths here, just by yourself. Just thanking yourself for showing up on the mat today and giving yourself some tender, loving care and attention. Thank you so much for practicing with me today. I hope you enjoyed it and I hope you feel good. I will see you in the next video. Namaste.